extra pressure. Basically taking what we've done previously and pushing it again, and just breathing new life into it, and finding ways that we can keep the RSI style interesting, but also keep it fresh for the players.
We have a lot of fighters in StarCitizen, and they cover a huge plethora of combat styles. One area that we have only a few ships filling is this two-person heavy escort fighter role. So RSI is typically, you think of it as a more civilian or utilitarian manufacturer, but they do actually dabble their hands in military and sort of aggressive fighting ships. You have the Bengal, which is probably the pinnacle of it. You have the Polaris, and now you have the Scorpius. So when we were designing the Scorpius, we obviously had that classic silhouette.
We're always looking at silhouettes, and there was a funny stage where kind of thought that maybe we were going a bit safe in some areas. So I did a couple of sort of, I would call them wacky, but there was sort of slightly more sort of modified RSI styling. Basically, there were hints of it in there, but it's really started to push towards the edges of like entering into a new generation of RSI. So we had about 20 maybe more, and then it's just a process of refinement, narrowing it down. What do I like? What does Chris like? And ultimately we ended up on the one that had sort of an X formation. It's common within sci-fi, but we've yet to do it in the StarCitizen universe. I was just like, let's just own this. This is where we've arrived. It looks really cool. Let's just go for it.
The RSI Scorpius is a two-player ship. It has a pilot and a remote turret gunner. They both access the ship via a side ladder, much like some of our other ships. And what makes this ship different to our other fighters in this area is that second player has access to a remote turret that can also change states and sort of track around to the underside of the ship. So if you are in a scenario where you have an attacker above or below you and your pilot cannot alter course for whatever reason, you yourself are able to go move the turret to account for that.
And I think for the fans, it's gonna make a more interesting sort of experience for them. In different situations, you're going to be able to make that call. Where do you want the turret, on the top or the bottom? It does have its limitations. It's not like a magic gun that gives you all-round cover over everything, which I kind of like. I like it when our systems do have some limitations and they're not all just like all singing, all dancing, can do everything.
A really nice feature of this turret, unlike some of our other turrets in the game, is no matter what state it is in, you are in a consistent viewpoint. So when you get to that transition point where it goes from the top of that ship to the bottom, your view stays the same way up. It nicely gimbals around, so you don't have this awkward bit where you might be attacking someone, you want to change positions, and halfway through your view flips 180 degrees, you get disorientated. That doesn't happen. It keeps it the right way up the entire time. So the pilot has access to 4 size 3 mounts on the wingtips. These come with size 2 gimbaled weapons by default, so you have a lot of forward-facing firepower there. And then you also have 2 missile racks built into the hull, and these come with 4 size 2 missiles by default on each side. So again, it's all about the forward-facing firepower for the pilot, so they can concentrate on just flying and attacking things in their frontal arc.
Of course, I'm biased. I think totally the ship fits. I think as we develop these ships over the years, it's always how to push them further, make them keep players interested, how to keep visual engagement, I guess. It's always a challenge, how to improve and push, almost like a virtual design house, isn't it? So that's always the challenge, but also keep the DNA. You want people who are fans of RSI to feel like, yeah, this is hitting the beats, yeah, but it's also feeling fresh. And I think with normally we don't have wings on RSI ships. Often it's sort of nacelles and movable parts like that. So this is kind of a hybrid. So it is pushing into new territory.
So the Scorpius adds an additional multi-crew ship to the game, and one that really takes the fight to other players. I think it's going to be quite popular in fleet battles. You always need these supporting ships, and we always try and make getting more people in a ship beneficial than having multiple ships. And as we develop and improve upon the multi-crew aspect, I really think that ships like the Scorpius are just going to get stronger and stronger and stronger.